we have the amazing Jeremy Vest, longtime DFW SCMer, and I'll let him take it away.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been part of DFWSEM for, man, well over a decade, and really love what you guys are all about. I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee 2 years ago, so no longer physically there, but I'm glad we can virtually hang out. I will be speaking at State of Search in October. Super pumped about that. And man, I would love for you guys in the live stream to ask questions. We can tailor this basically to whatever you guys would like. And Casey and you guys, if you want to ask me any questions as well, feel free to let's just use this kind of as a forum to chat about YouTube. One of the first things I want to talk about though is I have about 20 billion views on YouTube at this point for my customers. I've been doing it about almost 15 years. And I've got to see a lot of amazing things. And the biggest thing I want to talk to you guys today about are the misconceptions of YouTube. First off, YouTube's a really hard job. Like Mr. Beast is not just chilling watching TV. It's a very hard job. Secondly, it's not what you think. So what's important is probably not what you think is important, and what's not important is probably what you don't think. So a lot of people, especially in this group, are focused on SEO, and SEO is great and it's very, very good for YouTube. It's obviously the second biggest search engine in the world, but it's also not just about search. The three things that really matter are watchability, likability, and clickability. So if you think about clickability from a Google perspective, a search perspective, getting people to click on your search engine result page listings is very important for Google, right? Like you have to have a high click-through rate to be competitive. It's the same for titles and thumbnails on YouTube. So clickability is probably at the moment the second most important thing to master. So having clickable titles and clickable thumbnails, absolutely important. The first most important thing is to have watchable videos. Actually watch time is the number one ranking algorithm on YouTube. So making sure that people have a reason to watch is extremely important. Also editing, if you watch Mr. Beast videos, you see him cutting every 1 or 2 seconds. That's extremely important because you want to hold people's attention. And on SEO, that would be like how long someone reads your blog post or stays on your page. It's very important to keep people around long so that Google can make more money on ads. And then the third most important part of YouTube, in my opinion, is shareability, likes, comments, shares, interaction with the crowd. So that combination are the three most important things. Everything else you've heard, all the gurus out there saying stuff, are probably completely giving you BS. What do you guys think about that so far?
Yeah, and listen to a lot of stuff, and trying to figure out which way. I mean, I guess when you say watchability, when a person starts even watching, how much of that counts from like the beginning if they just bounce back out? Um, I,
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
there's a lot of differentiating facts. For example, if it's a short video, which is a vertical video under 60 seconds, it doesn't even count, by the way, as views or watch time. It's pretty interesting. So, things change just like on Google, things change on YouTube every day too. But really, if someone's bouncing less than 30 seconds, YouTube's barely going to count that a view. It is a view, but it's not really. And the biggest way to think about it is more about your competitors. So let's say you're trying to rank for um, how to get more views on YouTube in 2022. Let's say you want to rank for that. The thing that's most important is how long someone watches your video compared to the number one ranking video, right? So you're really going to be compared to the rest of the results, and you're only going to rank if all three of those factors, the clickability, watchability, and likability, are all like above or around your competitors.
So it's all relative, like anything else. Like because I run a lot of ad search and stuff, and so it's just comparing. It's not there's not one number you can go. That's the number you want to look for. But um, I guess is there like an average? Is it a percentage of watch time? That
Yeah. So one of the I try not to get too much misinformation out there, right? Because it's all relative, like you said. But one rule of thumb that's pretty good to follow is in the first 30 seconds or a minute, if you can hold a 70% retention, you'll pretty much destroy all your competitors. Because if you look at a retention graph, most people, you lose 50, 60, 70% of your viewers in the first 30 seconds. So
Okay.
this is called a hook, right? You need just like making a great blog post where, you figured out how to make someone read it all the way through. You need to have that powerful headline and hook and teaser. And I would suggest following the story formula called the hero's journey, where basically, you messed up, you lost, someone died, you got better, everything's awesome, you learned. It's really like if you think of any Disney movie, that's the hero's journey. So you want to make, even in instructional videos or boring videos, or one of my clients in Dallas, his name's Roger Wakefield. He's the largest YouTube plumber on social media in the world now, making a lot of money, doing very well for himself. And we started with 100 subscribers with him 3 4 years ago, and he's about to hit 500,000 subs on just on YouTube alone. But he's almost a million total on social media. And for a plumber in Dallas, Texas, it's kind of crazy. Cottonelle's paying
Yeah.
him big bucks to make videos, and so the trick really is, it's not about what industry you're in. You can make a story talking about toilets or poop. You can make a story, talking about, one of my friends is Paul Peck Drywall. He has well over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and all he does is talk about drywall. That's it.
wow.
That's wow.
It's pretty crazy. One of my friends, Stone Coat Countertops. I did a little consulting with him a few years back. He sold his business for a lot of money. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose, but he just taught people how to do epoxy countertops, and then built an epoxy business to sell products around epoxy countertops, and then sold to a big mega corporation. And they have well over 1 million subscribers at this point on their channel, just talking about epoxy countertops. So, there's so much misinformation out there, but the biggest thing I want you guys to know is, win small, niche within a niche within a niche, and be you, and find your freak tribe. Find the people that are going to relate to you. If you're an underwater basket weaver skateboarder, that's a thing probably. And like, you can find your people. I'm 46, I still skateboard every day. I guarantee you, if I went and made a skateboard channel for old guys, I could get to 100,000 subscribers if I wanted to.
Man,
You have to.
underwater basket weavers gotta unite, right? But
Exactly. But like marketing, I would not make a channel on marketing. I wouldn't even make a channel necessarily on SEO. I would make a channel on SEO for used car guys, used car
Yeah. Be
dealerships.
more specific about it.
Exactly. And I'll give you an example. So one of my customers is in Birmingham, Alabama, and his channel is called Lawn Care Life. He's at 108,000 subscribers. And all he does is he teaches people how to do lawn care businesses. It's pretty much all he does. He has a conference now. Milwaukee Tools flew him out this week or last week to basically show them the new product line. He's got tons of sponsors. And it's just a dude in Alabama that's cut grass. That's it. It's and I have dozens and dozens and dozens of these stories. I'm not talking about the famous YouTubers and big brands I work with. I'm talking about the normal folks that have a superpower, and their superpower is the thing they do and they're passionate about. And you just have to find your thing. But like if you win small and you don't think, oh, I'm going to dominate the world and be the next Mr. Beast, that's hard. But teaching people how to do lawn care maintenance isn't. It's not that hard.
You
You
have
guys
a
have any questions for me?
Yeah, you have a okay. So you have a hook in mind if you were going to do that skateboarding channel.
Absolutely.
Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, definitely. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but until about 6 months ago, I ran the largest skateboard YouTube channel in the world called Braille Skateboarding. And we had almost total with all the channels, we have over 6 million subscribers, bigger than Vans and the Barracks and, Tony Hawk, like every channel in the world, we're bigger than. And we're just a bunch of dorks. The founder, Aaron Cairo, literally is just a goober. He was a pro skater for a quick minute, but ultimately the reason our channel beats Tony Hawk's is because basically we are like you, and if we can do it, you can do it. We also get silly, skate glass skateboards and break them and all kinds of crazy stuff and have fun. But also if you type in how to kickflip, how to ollie, how to skateboard, we ranked number 1 in the world for almost every term.
Wow.
So the first, so going back to Roger Wakefield, in plumbing, the first year I just made him make how-to videos, and for a while there he was ranking number 1 in the world for how to fix your toilet, which, as you know, is probably one of the biggest terms, right, for plumbing stuff on YouTube and Google. And he's also ranking that in Google. And as you guys know, YouTube is dominating Google SERPs at this point, like absolutely destroying it with snippets and all this cool stuff. So, anyone that's serious about content marketing and SEO should be super serious about YouTube.
So we have a question from Rich, and it says, how does one get discovered with a hyper niche, something oddball like left-handed chefs that are into boggle?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? The first thing you have to do is you actually have to know who you are and then who your audience could be. So one of the things Roger has struggled with over the years is he'll switch, and this is a good strategy, but he'll, teach people how to fix their toilets, but then he'll train people how to become plumbers. Totally different audiences, but they feed off of each other. Because he has almost 500,000 subscribers, he can go on a media tour and make a lot of money in one day. He could, have an agent. So if he didn't do that broader videos, he wouldn't have won. Braille, if all they did was how to do skateboarding videos and not entertain people, they would have never broke 1 million subscribers ever. So basically, my suggestion is really understand what left-handed chefs, who they are, where they shop, what they do, what they need, what they're searching for. I can tell you right now, as an old man skateboarder, I would be talking about exercise and how to stay skating after 40 years old, how to stay skating after 50, stretches. I would get with a yoga channel or something, that's famous. And I would do collaborations with a famous yoga channel. I would go interview I would go to every single skate competition where the old guys from the 80s are, because that's who my generation grew up with. And they, go interview Steve Caballero and all these like old skateboarder guys. And then, so I would do a combination of how-to, reaction videos, hack videos, and fame hacking. And fame hacking is interviewing a famous old man skateboarder, right? A hack video could be making fun of 5-minute craft skateboard videos. And a react video is, something like crazy Russian old skateboarder guy. So you have a mix of viral videos, how-to videos, and entertainment videos. Does
Oh
that make
man,
sense?
that's brilliant.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I do for all my customers now, is have a mix of content, but it's all speaks to the same person. That's the thing that you don't like. People don't understand about this is you can't do 5 different types of skateboarding. I'm not going to do freestyle skateboarding and then mega ramp skateboarding and then mini ramp skateboarding. If I started a channel today, I'd make an old man mini ramp skateboarding channel. And the reason is old men skate mini ramps because they don't want to die. They're not ollieing down
Yeah.
stairs. They're not doing a 10 stair ollie. They're not typically on a big vert ramp like Tony Hawk. So 90% of the skaters I skate with, I have a mini ramp in my backyard. I'm an old man. Like, it's just our thing. And the more you understand your audience, the more you understand what a left-handed chef does and what, where they hang out and what their hobbies are, so the more you understand your audience, the more you're going to understand your niche. You're going to understand the people within that. So for example, I'm not going to say a sponsored skateboarder, but there's a company that it's called Old Bones Therapy, and they create basically braces and creams and stuff for old skater dudes. So I'm obviously in their demographic. So the more you know who you are and who your audience is, you can go to that conference. You can meet every single company within your niche that could possibly be a sponsor for you. And once you understand your audience, it's like anything, like, in DFW, one of the first things I did when I moved there is I joined DFW SEM and I met all these nerds. And we have like-minded things. We're digital marketers or SEO guys or YouTubers, and then we meet each other, and then we meet the companies within Dallas, and then all of a sudden we're just hooked into the scene. And what a lot of people don't understand is when you try to go broad on YouTube or Google or anything, most people fail. But if you hyper focus, the benefits are insane, and you meet all the people, and you're part of that, subculture, and it all just clicks and it works.
Wow. So I guess instead of like, would one of your signals that you're starting to hit your groove be not just whether you're getting a lot of like traffic, but your comments are starting to, like, you can tell that you're speaking to them? Is that what you start looking for? And
Yeah. So the whole philosophy I have is get 1% better every week. So get 1% better at your thumbnails and titles every week. Get 1% better at editing and filming every week. And then in 100 weeks, you'll be 100% better. Right. So one of the things you want to do as you start getting comments are kind of far down the road for some people, it takes a few videos to get there, but I mean, just learn and listen and ask questions. Hey, what do you want to see me do next? What questions do you have? It's about them. If you make the videos about your audience, you will win long term. If you just make it about yourself, no one gives a crap about you. And that's might sound harsh, but it is what is in it for me. That's why people are on YouTube. Some of the channels that fail the worst are channels that get 3 million views on how to fix a Ford Mustang air conditioner, right? And then it's so specific, people never need you again. Does that make sense? So like
Yeah.
if you teach someone how to click a button, then they don't really ever need you again, and they're not going to become an audience. So one thing I did for vidIQ, which is one of the largest YouTube software companies I worked for 3 years, is they were teaching people how to click buttons on YouTube. And the way we got them over 1 million subscribers and one of the largest YouTube tip channels in the world is we started talking philosophy. So how to get more subscribers, how to get more views, how to niche down and focus your channel instead of clicking on a button, because philosophy teaches someone how to fish and clicking a button tells you how to do something once. You can't build an audience teaching someone how to do something once.
Yeah, I was going to circle back and ask you about, you were talking earlier about not checking, being better than your competitors. Is vidIQ how you do that, or is there another way? Or
I mean, there's a lot of ways. There's vidIQ, there's TubeBuddy, there's some other, third-party plugins out there that are Chrome extensions mostly, and they're pretty cool. They give you a lot of data. For me, I mean, basically what I do is I figure out what the top terms in the world are. what's that site you can go to, like asking questions? Man, I always forget it. Answer the Public, ask the
Yeah, answer.
answerthepublic.com. So one thing I do is I go into Answer the Public and I type in, like old man skateboarding, how to skateboard or something, right? And then I get like a list of, hundreds of things, people, intent words people are using, the how, why, when, where type things. So I kind of start normally for like a customer. Let's say I don't know anything about gardening and I'm working with a gardening YouTube channel. So one thing, I'll start with Answer the Public and I'll just figure out like the questions. The next thing I'll do is I'll go to trends.google.com and click down the YouTube platform button. So you can actually do Google Trends for YouTube specifically. And then I start looking at interest over time. So I'll start putting in, how to fix a toilet or whatever. I'll see the related terms and what the interests are for those related terms. And I'm only going to make videos around terms that are going up in interest, not down. But basically, I figure out what my keyword phrases are, the top 5 or 10, and then I search for them in an incognito window on YouTube. And then I start writing down all the competitors that rank in the top 5. And by doing that, I know who my target audience is. I know who my competition is. And it's pretty simple to honestly start learning that world. And if you are in this, my friend that owns Lawn Care Life, he is always at events with like the 10 other yard YouTube guys, like it just becomes a small world if you focus. So I hope that answered your question about, but basically I don't personally use much software anymore. But I've been doing this 15 years too. It is very good. The software is great. I'm just call me a purist. I just like to get in there and just study myself.
Yeah.
You're talking
Yeah.
to people like constantly about the areas that you're filming on. You're data mining in conversations, right?
Absolutely. And I'm also, checking myself on Google and Answer the Public and trends and, you know, um, if we're talking ads on YouTube or something, I'm using SpyFu, to really understand what people are looking at. So, I mean, I'm using software and I'm not just isolated, but I would rather, for me personally, experience the best in the world and then have a starting point for how to teach someone how to do something.
So you talked about clickability is one of the factors. So are there like tips on like thumbnails or you know headlines that get people
Yeah.
going?
Yeah, and you know what? I can send you guys some links. I have some free training for this, for thumbnails specifically, but the basics are, you need eyes are subconsciously the window to the soul. So one thing, when I created Adobe Television in 2008, I helped them create that. At the time they were getting like 10 million views a month on teaching people. Now they canceled it because YouTube's so good. But at the time, what we learned is, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you remember, like 10, 15 years ago, all training was just screenshots. But now you go back and forth between the presenter and the screen. Well, what we learned at Adobe is 60% of the time you're setting up a concept, you're not clicking a button when you're teaching software, 60% of the time. So showing the whites of someone's eyes is very important to subconsciously connect with that viewer. Also, nonverbal communication is greater than verbal communication. We do more nonverbal signs than talking. And by knowing the psychology and the science behind how people communicate, you're going to learn how to make thumbnails and videos that people want to watch and click on. So if you're using a face, you need the eyes huge and the face absolutely huge so people can see the emotions. Um, That is absolutely critical because if people can't see your emotions, then they're not going to be able to relate to you and click. If you look at Mr. Beast's thumbnails, he does 3 very specific things every time. He holds his hands up, which is an invite, a nonverbal communication invite of come see, talk to me, and hang out. He has his eyes wide open. Again, eyes are the window to the soul subconsciously. And he has his teeth really big, which is inviting and makes people just feel good that they can see your teeth for some reason. It's kind of weird. Another thing is very bright backgrounds, and don't do the thing everyone else is doing. As Seth Godin says, be the purple cow. You got to stand out. So if everyone has blue backgrounds, have a purple background. You know, if everyone has purple backgrounds, have a white or a black background. Like stand out from everyone else. Another thing is text doesn't work. You know, 1 or 2 words is fine, but do visual representations of the text. So instead of using text, do some type of visual graphic that represents the text. So another thing is you want to oversaturate by about 40 or 50%. When you take an image and scale it down to a postage stamp size, you know, little thumbnail, it's going to lose its color integrity. So saturate and bump up the colors 30, 40, 50% so that when you squeeze it down, it's going to be bright still. Another thing is sharpen the crap out of it, because again, it's going to be very dull if you don't sharpen it before it goes down to a tiny little, you know, thumbnail. That and you know, so another thing is don't tell the whole story, give someone a reason to click, you know, like, but wait, there's more type of philosophy. And misdirection, like give someone like what, I don't understand, I have to click on this, I can't believe that's happening. You know, a crane like almost falling is gonna get a million more clicks literally than a crane sitting there and it says Steve. You know, like text doesn't really help. Everyone wants to put text on their thumbnail, but you know, just a crane sitting there saying Steve is not going to get any clicks. But a you know, a crane almost falling, and you see like visual lines of like movement, you know, like blurred or something, like, oh no, it's about to fall. Everyone, even people that don't care about cranes, are going to click on that and you're like, holy crap, did that crane just fall? So it's all common sense. Everything I'm telling you guys is extremely common sense. But when you know these 100 different things, you know, on Google, SEO, advertising, YouTube, you know, it's just experience, right? You just have to go through the grind. And one more thing I want to say is you got to make 100 videos before you judge yourself. You got to put out a video every week, 1 or 2 videos every week for a year or 2 before you can even judge yourself. It takes 100 videos before you're decent.
Huh.
Kevin, we have a long
Honest.
way to go.
Yeah.
And I
We're
want
taking-
to give a shout out to my man Dan Sturdivant and Mitch Todd. Love you guys. I've known them guys for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Pretty amazing people.
Yeah, and hey guys, welcome to the channel, or the group. Mitch is asking, how important is your channel name?
It used to be important, just like, you know what? It's the same, Mitch, as back in like the 2000s where you could game Google, you know, by having like, you know, what's funny to me is looking back at the yellow pages from like the 80s and 90s, right? Everything was called A air conditioning because it was the fun of the phone book. Well, in like the early 2000s, everyone had names that were specifically to what people were searching for so they could rank #1 in the world. That crap don't work anymore on Google and YouTube. Don't even try it and don't worry about it. Names don't mean crap. And the truth is, don't worry about stuff that doesn't matter. We know it doesn't matter, but we think it does because we're SEO nerds, but it doesn't. So don't worry about it. But what does matter is Google signals understanding who you are and what you do. This goes back to win small, you know, every day, not winning big, and having a niche and focusing. So think of it this way. Imagine if I had a YouTube channel on just YouTube thumbnails. That's all I taught. And every single title I ever did had the word YouTube thumbnail. I would probably eventually rank for YouTube thumbnail. And if I did it more than everyone else and I had good watch time and clickability and likability, I'd probably rank #1 in the world for YouTube thumbnail or custom YouTube thumbnail long term. But I can't judge myself for the first 100 videos because that ain't going to happen, because channels with 1 million subscribers are going to outrank me. But eventually, as I find my audience and my flow of filming and my ability to edit, I'll get there.
So, Dan, Mitch also asks if I'm wearing glasses, should I take them off so they can see my blue eyes better?
Everyone else in the world, it doesn't matter, but Mitch has those beautiful blue eyes. I think everyone has to see those. I'm just messing with Mitch.
So you don't think glasses have an impact? Because I don't know. I've suddenly wondered the same thing.
I mean, honestly, I think if we're thinking that deep, we're thinking about the wrong things.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be mean, guys. I'm just being honest. Like, it's like, I've done this for 15 years. You guys have done paid and SEO and all this stuff for 1 million years. So you understand just, how simple it really is. But we think the things that matter do matter. One thing I will say is your looks don't matter. What does matter is the quality of your audio, the lighting of your face, and your ability to tell a story. Those things matter. But how you look, I have a friend, Boogie. He was over 500 pounds and has well over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Like, it doesn't actually matter if you can connect to your people. He also had weight loss journeys and all kinds of stuff, and people followed him. He started gaming and now he does whatever he wants. But, people connect to you. And there's a lot of people with glasses. There's a lot of people with cancer, so you can to your people.
So how do you keep attention? Like, there's got to be points where you're just trying to talk, and then maybe even if you've rehearsed, and then you get to a lull. You said, like, like Mr. Beast is cutting every 1 or 2 seconds. How do you adapt? How would you suggest the normal person keeps that flow interesting?
Lost you there.
Did I cut out?
No, Jeremy is.
Oh, did he freeze for a second?
Yep, he's still frozen.
Uh-oh.
We'll give him a second to come back. I know I've been learning a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking of all the things I need to implement on our other channel and what tweaks we can make. I'm like, the contrast, the sharpening of the image, the thumbnails. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, there's a whole list of things I need to do.
The hook, just getting people to stay on the beginning. Like, I'm starting off like short intro, or would you flip that around, like come at a camera with a baseball bat and then start it off.
Yeah,
it's just something I don't know.
We'll see if he comes
Uh-oh.
back. We'll give him a minute. So the 70%, keeping 70% retention in the first minute, and that's better than most of the people out there.
Yeah.
So I never even thought about that.
Yeah, starting off, like working up to it, you may not get that chance. The person may have ditched us already. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even the way we're starting off, like these videos that we're doing, there he is. All right, you back with us?
Hey, guys.
You're good.
All right. Where were we at?
I think I was just asking about the about if, how do you handle transitions or like times it might be a lull in the lull to keep it interesting.
And that happens a lot, happens on Google, it happens on YouTube, happens on TikTok. A lot of people just blame and say, oh, You know, I hate that company. I was doing this many views and now I'm only, people like that have a loser mindset. I'm just going to be real. We're rent free getting to be able to be in front of millions of people for free. This sandbox, they're going to change the rules on us. And it's up to us to have a flexible mindset to be able to make that happen. The first thing I would say is you need to master vertical video, horizontal video. I call them longs and shorts. You know, you gotta be able to adapt. If you really have a gift that you're giving to the world, work on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest and LinkedIn, right? That gift doesn't have to be a YouTuber. If you call yourself a TikToker or a YouTuber, you've already failed, because eventually you'll get into a trap to where, let's say YouTube deletes your channel because they say you did something wrong. Are you out of business now if you're a YouTuber and YouTube deletes your channel? So I would recommend that you never call yourself a YouTuber. You never call yourself a TikToker or Instagram creator. You call yourself a creator, a video creator, and you use the platforms like an artist would use chalk, ink, or, you know, pencil or crayons. And, you know, you just have to give the people what they want on the platforms that they happen to be on. I also think, you know, the specific content types I gave you guys, go live. I didn't talk about that yet. Do long videos, do short videos, do reaction videos, do hack videos, and how-to videos. I think that you'll find if you keep on trying all of those types of videos, you'll find your flow eventually. You'll find what YouTube and TikTok and Instagram like, and you'll be able to move forward. Another thing I would say is, starting out, I would start with vertical videos and post them to Pinterest and YouTube Shorts and TikTok and Instagram, and stories, and Facebook Reels and Facebook stories. And, you know, just make great vertical videos. You don't have to make it for a specific platform. But what that does is it teaches you how to tell a story in 15 or 20 seconds. And if you can tell a 20, 30, 40, 50-second video story that works, you can tell a 10-minute story. So I would highly recommend, every time you're in a lull, be creative to get out of it. Don't blame the algorithms. Just be creative enough to where you push yourself to where you're getting people to like, comment, share, watch, and click.
Shake things up just in general.
Yeah.
You know, and writing ads for years, just my experience, like, if this is it sounds relatable, is it doesn't matter how great our ad has gotten. You know, I've had some ads that I'm like, yeah, this is wonderful. People are copying. They're going to start taking chunks of it, and and so what was working in 3 or 6 months, it's going to be wiped out, and I'm going to have to, you know, it's the impact is lessened. So sometimes I just have to go with a strongly different theme and shake that up. Is that I don't know about
Yeah.
reinventing the channel, but
Yeah. And I would just say, you know, worry less about, once you know your competitors, worry less about your competitors. Oh, that's so weird. There's a spider in front of the camera.
Okay.
Look at, oh,
I've seen it. I was
that
like, is that a glare off of something? What am
was
I?
amazing. That was a
well,
great
he's not going
moment.
to call himself a YouTuber. He's out to
Yeah,
he's not a
he's got
loser.
fun. Oh man. Are there any other questions I can answer right now, or do you guys have any other questions for me?
Do you post the same shorts across all your platforms, or
Yes.
are you mixing it up? Okay.
If I spend the time to make a great 15, 20, by the way, making a great 15-second video is hard.
Yeah.
Even if you just have your cell phone and you're doing a stupid dance or something, it's still like work. You know, it's purposeful and intentful, and it's hard. It's not easy. But yeah, if you make a vertical video, put it on all the platforms.
Okay.
It just makes sense. And a lot of times, like if we get something to go viral, like for example with Braille, we did a Ninja Star skateboard that went viral on. Oh, we'll just slap that up on YouTube, because, you know, obviously it's not going to go viral on YouTube Shorts. It had 13 million views on YouTube. and it was
Wow.
the exact same video.
How do you what I guess what's the best way to keep in mind to keep going? You said don't even judge yourself to 100 videos. That's a long march to get there. Once you've got the experience, like you can go, oh, I know what this is like. It's okay. But I know from my perspective, I'm like, it seems like that's a that's a long hill to climb.
Yeah, I would say if you really know your purpose and your value to your viewers, you're going to connect faster, right? So if you really focus down and you find your tribe of freaks that can really relate to you, you're just going to slide into that faster. I know people with like 2,000 subscribers that love YouTube and do it like go live all the time, and just because they found their 2,000 nerds. I've never met Dink, in my whole life. I think we tend to get so vain that we underestimate the power of small audiences. If you sold jumbo jets, you'd probably only have to sell one a year and make like a few $1,000,000. So don't underestimate the size small audiences and embrace them. Also, make your next video like you have 1,000,000 subscribers. And don't you dare ever waste anyone's time. If the video doesn't have true value or entertainment, don't post it. Make a better video. It's not the algorithm, it's us. It's us as creators, it's us as being, and at the same time, click the record button and suck for 100 videos. Like I'm not saying not to suck, you have to learn, but don't underestimate just how easy it can be. I clicked one button to turn. Of course, I'm redoing my studio right now, but when it gets better, I literally turn on one button and my entire studio is set up. I never have to set up my studio. You have to make what you do easy. If you don't, you won't do it. And the first thing I tell everyone is after they get like to 50,000 subscribers, hire an editor. Everyone hates to edit videos, unless that's what you do for a living. So you just have to make things easier on yourself. But I can, once I redo my studio in the next week or two, I just literally click a button. I'm recording. I even have my camera and my mic and everything hooked to my computer already, so I don't even have to like turn on. And I'm gonna use a really nice web camera, so I don't even have to use my expensive DSLR. My point is, you have to make things repeatable and easy on yourself. And remember that, like like Scooby Doo, it was the exact same episode there's like a guy and they took the mask off, right? You have to do that on YouTube because your audience expects a specific thing. And if you look at any Mr. Beast video, it starts off and he's like blah 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 blah, and there's like million screens going everywhere, and then like it's the exact same video every time. He'd be giving away $1,000,000 or trapped underneath the ground. It's the exact same video. The formula is the same. So once you have 100 videos, you're going to know what works and what doesn't work, and you're going to have, I call this the show formula, and you're just going to have a formulaic way. The first 5 seconds is the hook, and then you go here, and then you do that. And it doesn't matter if you're a dentist or a skateboarder or teaching people SEO. None of that matters. You have to have an easy way to repeat video making. I could sit down right now and make fun how to become a YouTuber in an hour, but if you over prepare or under prepare, it's going to suck. A lot of people use teleprompters and stuff, and it just doesn't come off sincere. So I would just have bullet points and just get to work. Don't worry about it. And I want all of you guys to suck the first 100 videos.
And I've felt the emotional weight in the last few minutes, like of like, don't waste someone's time, but suck for 100 videos and just keep going. Man, I'm feeling
Yeah.
that.
It's both things, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
want like you give value, but you can still suck on camera.
Yeah, just doing it and getting yourself out there. and trying
And
to be helpful.
and there's a reason I've stayed behind the scenes most of my career. I just don't like to be on camera, but I'm just over it. I got to do it. I've never made my own channel over 100,000 subscribers, so I'm just going to do it. And it's going to be fine. And it's not going to be perfect. But if I can help one person become better on YouTube, it's cool. That's fine. And if you have that mentality of F it, but I'm going to try to change people's lives, you're good. It's when we start getting self-conscious is when we fail.
Man, yeah, I love every bit of that. Feeling free to fail feels like confidence.
It's so
Like,
important. I've done marketing for 22 years now, and one of the first things I do when I take a new job or whatever is I talk to the owners and I'm like, look, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to fail, but I'm also probably going to win harder than you've ever seen in a marketing department in your company. And, you know, that my relationship with my wife and my kids and my job, it's all relative. Like everything this is the same thing. We can't give up. We have to try harder. But I think what's happened over the last 10 years on YouTube is now, like when we were kids, people wanted to be firefighters and, firemen and astronauts. Now everyone wants to be a YouTuber or TikToker. And the reality is it's really dang hard and there's a lot of competition. So if you really know what your value is to the world and you can be a niche within a niche within a niche, find your weird people, then you're good. But if you try to be something else than other than yourself, you will fail.
And it comes through in videos.
It does.
If you're just watching videos and scrolling through YouTube, you can see the people that are trying to be something else than what they truly are.
And
You can see it in their body language.
absolutely. And I feel bad for a lot of kids coming up now because a lot of these kids value themselves off of likes, comments, and shares. And that is
Yeah.
horrible because we know that doesn't mean crap. But what does mean something is if you can affect the lives of, 2,000 or 100,000 people and help them increase their business or make them laugh or, whatever your channel focus is, then I believe we, the people, are more important than Hollywood. When we were kids, Tom Cruise and all the people like who we looked up to is like that was unattainable. But now we are Tom Cruise to our own little freak world, our little subculture. I think subcultures are really underestimated in marketing. I have a friend, he just crossed well over 100,000 subscribers, and all he does is talk about ham radios. That's it.
man,
And the dude is making a lot of money because his little nerds, apparently there's at least 100,000 people that do ham radio stuff, so I just want everyone here to know that you can be a goober. You don't have to be beautiful or attractive. You don't have to be anything. You just have to relate to people that are doing the thing you want to do.
You ready for this?
and that's
So how do we unlock this?
Oh man.
Did you see that transition?
I liked it. I think you're referring to the course that I've just created on Kickstarter, right? Is that what you're talking about? Or yeah, so I have this method for the last 15 years I've taught is I call it unlock. Niche down, focus, all the things we've been talking about today. I actually have like a 14-day course. It's only $38, and I'm sure we can put it in the description or something, the link later on. But it's only $38 and, doing well. We're going to definitely make that happen. By October, we're going to get it going. But I want to teach 100,000 people this method because I really believe that, almost everyone that has listened to me has been successful. And there's a lot of gurus out there and people teaching YouTube that, quite frankly, are charging $2,000 to $6,000 an hour to do consulting. or $200-300 a month, or and I've done that too. I'm not blaming them. I love these guys that are charging this much money, but I feel called to help 100,000 people share their gifts with the world. And the only way I think that can happen is if we do a very low cost, affordable course. And that's what I've created, and I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. I put a link to it in the chat.
Thank you.
I want to hear everyone express themselves and get their ideas out. In the last few years, I have seen things that I never thought I would care about. I'm like, wow, there's whole layers of the world that I'm experiencing from people's ideas and entertainment or otherwise.
Yeah, it's cool.
Huh.
When we were kids, we had to go experience something. We wanted a mountain bike, we'd have to mountain bike. But now you can go watch 100 videos on mountain biking and get a sense of it if you think it'll work for you or not. I mean, I really do believe, and I'm not underestimating this. I really do believe that Hollywood is less important now that there's YouTubers and TikTokers.
Yeah, I could see that. 'Cause that, like me, I bought the camera I'm not even using is over here that I paid a lot of money for. I probably spent a good 80 hours on YouTube watching reviews of different cameras
Yeah.
just so I can buy a nice camera that I'm not using to stream with.
And it's complicated. And that's one of the reasons I made this course is you get to learn all this stuff on YouTube, but you're going to take a couple 100 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to have to sift through what you think is right and wrong. My customers have over 20 billion views. And I just think it was selfish of me to not make this course. I'm not saying there's a million people out there as good as me teaching this stuff. I'm not saying I'm like the best in the world, but I am very good. And I figured out my gift is teaching the basics of YouTube, really getting people to get away from the BS and the things that don't matter, and then focus on the things that matter.
And I love that, and fully support that. Yeah, man, this has been great. Do we have any other questions, Casey?
I don't. I know there's some things I've got to change now, especially with my thumbnails.
Man, thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you to all everyone in chat, Mitch and Dan. And we'll be sharing this back out. This is free, provided by DFWSEM. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you.
And don't forget to get your tickets to State of Search. Can't wait to see you guys there this year.
Oh, heck yeah. I'll be there.